My name is Benjamin Rusnak, and I work for one of the largest aid organizations based in the US, international aid organizations. It's called Food for the Poor. I've been their staff photographer for the last 12 years, and basically I've photographed poverty. I document poverty in the developing world in about 10 countries in the Central America and the Caribbean. So I work with writers, I tell the stories of poor people, we send those stories to our donors, we raise money and we help those people, and we use those stories to help thousands of other people. So it's been a pretty rewarding job to be able to use photography to help people. I don't think I ever expected to do it. I started in newspapers in the US and then ended up in this job, and it's been a pretty amazing opportunity. 2 years ago, for the inaugural Guatefoto, I submitted work from the earthquake in Haiti, because that was 2010, and the earthquake had just occurred a few months before the submission date. And so I sent these panoramic photographs that I'd shot on a Hasselblad X-Pan on film, shot after the earthquake. And then I was there about 5 days after, and then I also continued to do work for the next couple months. And so I submitted something like that, and they liked it, I guess. So that's how I got to know La Fototeca. I really hadn't heard about it until another friend, acquaintance, sent me an email. And I thought, well, I love Guatemala, and I come to Guatemala all the time, so let me see what this is all about. Most of my work well, I have two different bodies of work. I have the work that I do for the organization, which is much more standard photography, especially for fundraising purposes. It is what I would call sad child looking at the camera. And that is what touches people's hearts and gets people to send money. And that's why I do what I do. But you can't only do that kind of work. You have to do other kinds of work. And so I was introduced to the panoramic camera, the Hasselblad X-Pan, and I fell in love with it. It was like coming home. When I picked up that camera for the first time, I felt like I'd just come home, and I started using it to tell a different kind of story about poverty. And I've been telling that story now for about 4 years and developing a body of work. And that work that I showed at Guatefoto was a small portion of a much larger body of work that's on panoramic. I thought that the inaugural Guatefoto 2 years ago was fantastic. I thought it was a great success, especially because it was built from absolutely nothing. But already I've seen from the website, from talking to Clara and JJ, I've totally seen a much more professionalism. Not that they weren't professional, but they've obviously learned a lot about how to put together an international photo festival. And it's really amazing to see them grow and see the festival grow. And I can see that already, and it hasn't even occurred yet. Yeah, I think I did. I think, there were I did gain something from being part of this. Some of it is hard to judge how much you gain, but I think it was really helpful to me to be a part of this festival and meet other people at the festival that I've been since met elsewhere in other countries. And so you become part of a larger community, I think, when you participate in things like this. But I think the most exciting thing about the festival was, because I've worked in Guatemala for many years, I have other friends who are not involved in photography, but involved in, helping poor people, But they live here, they're Guatemalans. And they came to the festival to see my work and to see all the work. And they were so excited, because what was created here was something that never existed in Guatemala. And you had people seeing a different side of culture here in their own country that they've never seen before. They probably hadn't ever even been to that museum before. And that was really exciting. There was just this energy. It was really nice. I am going to submit this year. I'm going to submit, again, it's panoramic photography, but it's in a totally different vein. It's not about poverty. It's about the American Southwest, mostly Utah, a little bit of New Mexico. What I've learned in the last few years is that the work that I do for Food for the Poor is very draining emotionally, dealing with the level of poverty that I deal with. And I found that the landscapes of the Southwest are very healing for me. And when I use that panoramic camera out there, it really heals a lot of the pain and suffering that I witness in the developing world. And it's just a really wonderful process for me. And I believe that I take some of that struggle and I put it onto the landscape. And so the landscapes tend to be somewhat dark, maybe emotional. People that look at the pictures say they find them emotional. And I think that's because I'm bringing the emotion to the landscape, not that it's already there. So that's the work that I'm going to submit this year, and we'll see if people like it. I'm going to definitely continue doing the work that I do, but I'm also going to really pursue this landscape photography on the side. I mean, I think that's something that's where my heart is. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that a lot more.